Hello everybody, my name is Spoons Rattling, and welcome to my short series that I'm going to do starring the Khorne Lord of Skulls. Since we hit 100 subscribers, I ordered one and it actually arrived today. And this is just sort of a fun one because I was browsing through the Forge World options the other day, obviously, with the last video, and I saw the Greater Brass Scorpion, and decided that maybe I should see how they compete with each other in the new codex. And so that's what this video is. It's sort of showing how they throw down against different targets and how they compete with each other. So let's get into it. The first is the Brass Scorpion, and this is sort of like just showing off his profile. He costs 475 points. His movement 12 inches, so a little faster. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+, so just as accurate. Strength 8, toughness 8, same strength and toughness. 2 less wounds at 28 wounds. 6 attacks, and leadership 9 and a 3+ save. Now, unlike the Lord of Skulls, as it degrades, it doesn't get more attacks. It just, its weapons get less accurate, which is sort of a downside, but then again, it is significantly cheaper. Now, on the offensive front, it has two Hellmaw Flame Cannons, Assault D6, Strength 8, AP 2, and Damage 1, very good for clearing infantry. Scorpion Cannon, which is the thing on its tail, is Heavy 15, Strength 5, AP 2, Damage 1. Again, very good at clearing infantry. The Demolisher Cannon is pretty much what you'd expect. It's Heavy D6, Strength 10, AP 3, and Damage D6. And its claws are Strength times 2, AP 4, and Flat Damage 6, or Strength User, AP 2, Damage 2 with triple attacks. Its special rules are Regen 1 wound at the turn because it's a demon engine. On a 4+, if this is one I need to sort of explain. If it's targeted for a psychic spell or would take mortal wounds as a result of a psychic spell, you roll a dice, and on a 4+, it is unaffected by the psychic power or the mortal wounds from them. And then it also gets an advanced 2d6, which is quite useful at turn 1 because you can really sprint this thing up the board and melt something with the flamers and charge next turn. But regardless, it also has a 5+ invul, as it is demonic, obviously, if you couldn't tell by looking at the humongous mechanical red nightmare scorpion that has no face. So, obviously, his contender and contemporary is the Lord of Skulls. He costs 100 more points at 575. His stat is our movement 10, weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+, strength 8, toughness 8, 30 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 8, and a 2+ save. Now, the weapons that I'm using in this video are the ones I'm going to build it with as well are the Skull Hurler on its left arm and the Demon Gore Cannon in its stomach. And then it obviously has the Great Cleaver of Khorne, which has the same profile, but its sweep attack has more AP. The Demon Core is Demon Core, not the Demon Core. The Demon Gore Cannon is 18 inches, so close range. Heavy D6, Strength 10, AP 4, and Damage D3+3, and it is Blast. The Skull Hurler is 60 inches, Heavy 2d6 with Blast. Strength 10, AP 3, and Flat Damage 3. I put Damage 2, but it's actually 3. Special rules. It has fire blast weapons when engaged, Titanic, Infernal Regen, and the Titanic Demon Engine, I believe is what it's called. And it degrades in a similar way, but of course gets more attacks as it degrades. So the first round is versus these poor intercessors. As you can see, they likely aren't going to fare the best against these guys. The first one to swing is the Scorpion. For both of these, I counted them in turn 2 with no direct damage buffs applied to them. The Scorpion in sweep mode has 18 attacks, hitting on 3s, averaging 10 to 12 hits, wounding on 2s, averaging 8 to 10 wounds, and with Armor of Contempt, about 5 to 6 of the Marines being dead. So, I mean, pretty solid, about 100 to 120 points right there. And then up next is his sort of larger cousin, well, actually not necessarily larger, his tank-treaded cousin. Again, same circumstance, hitting the same and wounding the same. The difference is the AP. As it is AP 3, the Marines are saving on 5s and not 4s. So I'd say it's more close to being 6 to 8 dead Marines, giving the first round to the Lord of Skulls. That's not to say clearing out half a squad of Marines, or an entire squad if you're not fighting a max squad, is still relatively useful. And then, so next up is the shooting phase. So again, round 2 against a squad of 10 intercessors, starting with the Brass Scorpion's arsenal of guns. Now technically the Scorpion doesn't have Let the Galaxy Burn yet, so in the future the Flamers are going to get better once the Forge World choices get their FAQ. The Scorpion fires, and starting with the Flamers, since there are 2 of them, it's scoring about, on average, 6 hits across both of them. That's combined, I should say. Auto-hitting, wounding on 2s, averaging 4 to 5 wounds, and 2 unsaved because of low AP, so it's 1 dead Marine. Then they have the Scorpion Cannon, which is heavy 15, averaging 9 to 10 hits, wounding on 3s, about 6 to 7 wounds, taking 6 for average. That would be about 3 unsaved, so another dead Marine and 1 wounded. Finally is the Demolisher Cannon, with blast averaging 3 shots, averaging 2 to 3 wounds, taking 2 as the average, saving less than 1 on average, likely killing 2 Marines, so 4 dead Marines in total. Next up is the Lord of Skulls shootings. He has 1 less gun, but I'd say they're a bit higher quality, so it's more quality over the quantity of the Brass Scorpion's weapons. The Skull Hurler would average about 6 shots with blasts, averaging 4 hits, 3 wounds, saving on average 1, so killing 2 Marines. The Demon Gore Cannon has an average of 3 shots as well, hitting 2 to 3, again wounding 2 to 3, saving less than 1, killing 2 Marines on average. So again, it's killing 4 Marines. They're about tied in that regard. So round 2 is against a tougher target than more what they're tailored for. The Lord of Skulls won in melee, but the shooting was a tie, so same setup as round 1, but instead beating down on a Plague Burst Crawler. One of the notoriously toughest vehicles. Toughness 8, 3 plus save, 5 plus invul, minus 1 damage. Let's see how they do. Now in this round, I gave the first to the Lord of Skulls. So in Smash mode, he has 6 attacks, on average hitting 4, wounding on 2s, so about 3 wounds, saving on average 1 because of the 5 plus invulnerable save, so easily cracking 10 damage through and could easily swing higher, leaving the Plague Burst nearly dead and crippled beyond any sort of reasonable efficacy, especially with the Barrage nerf, meaning it would be hitting on 6s on its bottom profile. Very inaccurate. And also completely frail and weakened, and anything that could shoot it could easily kill it. So the Scorpion should be up next, but their Smash mode profiles are actually the same, meaning that using this math they're gonna equate to the same amount of damage, leaving the tiebreaker to the shooting phase. First up is the Scorpion, so Flamers first, averaging 6 shots, being strength 8, wounding on 4s, about 3 wounds, and 1 to 2 unsaved, so 1 damage. On average, I'd say is reasonable. The Scorpion Cannon has 15 shots, about 10 to 12 hits, taking 10 as an average, wounding on 5s, about 3 wounds, likely 1 unsaved for an extra point of damage. Then finally we have the Demo Cannon, which is obviously its anti-tank gun, averaging 3 shots, wounding on 3s, likely 2 wounds, saving less than 1 on average. I'd say with the d6 damage, 3 damage on average, so accounting for variability with the 2 shots, we'll say 5 damage, for 7 damage in total, putting it just behind the Lord of Skulls, which you'll see here in a moment. The Skull Hurler, average again 6 shots, hitting 3 to 4, 3 for simplicity's sake, wounding on 3s, 2 wounds, likely to save less than 1, 2 punch through, and 4 damage total. Last up is the Gore Cannon. Average 2 shots, likely to hit both, wounding on 3s, odds on 1 fails. 1 to save to make, and likely to fail it, being stuck on that 5 plus. So that's another 4 damage, again, on average. Could swing higher, could swing lower. 8 in total, so he wins in shooting, and it kind of seems cut and dry. The Lord of Skulls, even unbuffed, is doing more damage than the Greater Brass Scorpion, rather. And while that's all reasonable and true, the winner is undeniably the Lord of Skulls. The Scorpion is, after all, 100 points cheaper, though. So accounting for that, I'd say they both performed about the same. You get more if you pay more, but you pay less, you get slightly less. The Greater Brass Scorpion is obviously going to hit a little weaker, when in sweep mode, that is, and his guns are a bit more slanted to anti-infantry, but he still can stack wounds on, not like things like a Plague Burst Crawler, which are reasonably tough. So I'd say that while the Khorne Lord of Skulls still won, I wouldn't say the Brass Scorpion's far behind. And I think that means the Brass Scorpion will be one of my subscriber sort of rewards. Maybe when we hit like 5,000 subscribers, if we do, I'll get one. But again, I still think these are both pretty much in a similar vein. If you want more troops running around, or more units in general, obviously take the Brass Scorpion. He's going to do less damage. But if you want to build around one, definitely take the Lord of Skulls. He does more damage and is a bit more tough, so he's easier to buff in both ways. And things like Iron Warriors can obviously push the damage of these guys higher and push their durability higher, but this is just sort of looking at them if you just had them on their own, which is how I did this. Again, so I've been Spoons Rattling. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see round 2. I want you guys to guess in the comments who you think his next opponent's going to be. And make sure to subscribe to see me assemble, paint, and show off what this Lord of Skulls can actually do. Again, I've been Spoons Rattling. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.